Never thought I'd be making this video of all things.
Who lives in the pineapple under the sea? SpongeBob SquarePants! Absorbent in yellow and porous in seeds. SpongeBob SquarePants! If not, Uncle Nuts would be something you wish. SpongeBob SquarePants! And drop on the deck and flop like a genie.
I know SpongeBob, you know SpongeBob. Let's skip the introduction to get right to the point. A new SpongeBob game was announced recently, and as someone who considers themselves an above-average SpongeBob fan, it sparked interest in me revisiting some of his games because, why not? I mean, I'm no Patchy the Pirate or anything, but growing up I had SpongeBob shirts, a SpongeBob radio, SpongeBob pillows, a SpongeBob backpack that barely carried anything, multiple Mr. Potato Head-like SpongeBob toys where you could take his face and arms off, one of those amusement park cups from California from years ago that says it causes cancer, the whole 9 yards really, and of course that means SpongeBob video games. Battle for Bikini Bottom, the movie game, Lights, Camera, Pants, Creature from the Krusty Krab, although admittedly that one was a rental from Blockbuster. I even played the GBA version of Atlantis SquarePantis. I've been told the DS version is better, but I'm still willing to bet the one I grew up with is better than whatever's going on here.
That's it?
All this is standard mid-20s guy behavior. I'm fortunate enough to not only have grown up during the golden age of the show, but also to have parents that were fans themselves. My dad still regularly jokes about fine dining, and my mom got me this shirt a while ago. Man, it pains me to think there's people younger than me who don't love SpongeBob because they grew up with the modern stuff. I guess it's just a curse that all long-running animated shows with yellow people always get infected with a case of flanderization. But that's not important. Right now we're taking it back to the good old days. We'll look at Battle for Bikini Bottom, or more specifically, Rehydrated because it was on sale on Steam alongside Cosmic Shape, which I've actually never played before. Maybe if this video gets 500 views, I'll talk about it next, who knows? I mean, before I started making scripted content, my most successful video was a remix of the Robo Patrick theme, so... Don't ask me why this has so many views, it is beyond even my understanding. Regardless of all that, I should probably say that even though I'm using the remake for footage, this isn't really a video about the remake. It's not perfect by any means. The bungee jumping in the sea needle leaves a lot to be desired in my opinion. But I'm sure someone has already torn it to shreds, and even with all its faults, we still got more games out of it, so I guess it technically did its job. The game opens up with good friends Robert and Pat Starfish playing a game of robots and racehorses. Even in my own videos, I can't skip the thought of the horse girls. No! After deciding to wish for real robots to play with, the duo wakes up to an army of rampaging robots causing chaos all across town, thinking this was his fault when in reality it was Plankton being an idiot and not sending his robot army to obey. SpongeBob decides to go on an adventure to save his hometown. I should say right off the bat that while not being as inherently funny as the golden age of the show, which admittedly set the bar very high, the game has its sense of humor I can only describe as being slightly unhinged. Like, what am I even supposed to add to that? There isn't anything I can say to make this funnier, so I guess I won't. Being a game from the definitive best generation of gaming! Battle for Bikini Bottom is your classic 3D collectathon.
Which was the style at the time.
Being a bigger fan of 2D games personally, my 3D experience is rather limited, with most games I play in the genre being of the plumber variety. And given recent developments, I guess the ape variety as well, but that's something I'm not going to get around to for another 10 years, so forgive me for leaving it at that. No, the 3D games of my childhood were LEGO Star Wars, the original one where Yoda had the floating share thing, The Simpsons hit Run, if that even counts as a platformer given its 90% driving. I mean, you could kick the crap out of Marge, so I guess that's close enough. And of course, Battle for Bikini Bottom. And also the movie game, but they refused to make that one, so it's just gonna sit in the corner of shame for the time being. I still love you though. Except for the ring missions. Oh, the Superman 64 jokes I could make. The game itself follows your standard formula. You gotta run around all over the place, collecting shiny stuff, while on the hunt for even more shiny things that you need to unlock more areas to find even more shiny things. All while finding random collectibles that you can trade into other characters for, you guessed it, a gold back scratcher.
Spatula.
I don't speak Italian.
Being a platformer based on existing media, the game's locations are all taken from the show. Well, except for the Flying Dutchman's graveyard. I mean, don't get me wrong, graveyards and cemeteries have definitely been a part of the show since the early years. Just ask Schmitty Werben Jägerman Jensen.
He was #1!
But the Dutchman kind of just keeps to his ship for the most part. I mean, there was this one time he crashed with Sponge for a bit, but that ended up being all
Later.
And then there was that time he got run over by the lawnmower and
Eventually.
And that's not even talking about the time Krabs sold him for And then there's that whole movie coming out where the Dutchman's supposed to be voiced by Mark Hamill.
Maybe he's Jake Skywalker.
Each area, be it the green hills or jellyfish fields or the depths of rock bottom, is made up of several smaller areas. That being said, not all of these areas are what I call winners. Downtown Bikini Bottom is mainly just 2 linear areas, with the only side path being the Sea Needle and its questionable bungee physics. Then there's Sand Mountain, where it's a bit hard to really call a full area, as it's mainly just slides and time challenges. And also that one stupid snowman thing from Bubble Buddy's course, where you have to slide down it like 3 times in a row since they're all on alternate paths. But the absolute low point has got to be Kelp Forest, especially the Kelp Caves, where you're running back and forth for like half an hour, all because of Barnacle Boy's bunions. Ew. Even with those complaints, the game as a whole has plenty of goodies for you to find. While most areas have a golden spatula for just reaching the end, there's plenty of side areas to explore. They can be optional spatulas you need to go out of your way for, most of which are actually paywalled. What's going on here? I thought this was a kid's game. Why is it teaching me that everything costs money? Heck, half the time even the main path is blocked behind spending money. Anyways, besides that, you also got area-specific collectibles to look out for, like I mentioned earlier, be it something as simple as getting King Jellyfish jelly for Squidward, or helping Mrs. Puff find all her students she lost track of in the forest. Which, as a reminder, we're out there to hide from SpongeBob, but that's besides the point. And then there's my personal favorite example being with Mrs. Puff again, but this time asking you to collect stolen art from Rock Bottom's museum. And when SpongeBob asks her why she wants the art, you get met with this as a response.
Don't ask questions you aren't prepared to handle the answer to!
Between this and that one time she stole SpongeBob's boat, the pufferfish has some skeletons in her closet. This leaves us with our final main collectible, Patrick's sock collection.
Oh, that one. It's lost.
Functioning similarly to Mario Sunshine's blue coins of all things, every 10 socks you get can be traded in with Pat for a golden spatula. Unlike Sunshine, however, these collectibles are actually well implemented into the level design. For starters, each level actually has a sock tally, so you'll know when you've collected every single one. That, alongside the fact these spatulas actually count towards game progression, are enough to make them infinitely better than blue coins. I'd say more about them in the future Sunshine video, but this is me we're talking about, so yeah. The worst I can say about the socks is that there's a few in the first 2 areas that you can only get after unlocking new abilities. Meaning you can't do a clean run through each level and have to backtrack later on to get them. Guess that's my excuse to actually talk about game progression, Ven. I mentioned in passing that most areas require a specific number of spatulas to unlock, with Bikini Bottom itself being a hub world connecting them all. But with that in mind, Bikini Bottom itself is split into 3 different areas separated by toll booths. The official explanation for why you need all these things is because... But instead of just unlocking the new areas normally, opening the toll gates takes you to a boss battle between robotic copies of Patrick and Sandy. The game has other smaller mini-bosses in several levels, one of which was actually a character I think was created for the game as far as I'm aware. Getting back to the big robo-bosses again, both of them are made up of 3 phases where SpongeBoy, Me Bob, and one of his friends head off between each other. Well, to be fair, in the Robo-Patrick fight, I don't think that was intentional, but what do I know? I never really did mention Patrick and Sandy, did I? Each level has bus stops you can use to swap between characters. You'll always play as SpongeBob, I mean, he is the main character, but the Star and Squirrel alternate between levels. Sandy is generally the better of the two. She can lasso off enemies for distance, glide around making helicopter noises, and swing from floating Texas hitch things because... Texas.
Alrighty then.
That's not to say Pat is worthless though. He can stun and throw enemies with his patented smash. Don't get mad at me, that's literally what it's called in the movie game.
It's called the Smash.
My flop is the mightiest flop of all!
Besides that, he probably has the funniest regular attack, that being the power of that. He also probably has the funniest conversations with other characters in general.
Why would the customers want to be made round?
You're a strange one. You are, Patrick.
Oh yeah, Mr. Krabs and Mermaid Man were voiced by someone else in this game. I don't know why they didn't bother getting Clancy Brown to redo the lines, but it is what it is. I can understand why Mermaid Man hasn't changed at least. I don't think Nickelodeon has the capture card to get him back in the booth. Defeating bosses gives SpongeBob access to new bubble moves courtesy of Bubble Buddy. I love the idea of SpongeBob's moves being based on his love of bubble blowing. At the start of the game, all you have is the standard spin attack, a basic ground pound, and the bubble bash. Later on, after Robo Sandy, you get the bubble bowl. And I knew I said I wasn't going to complain about the remake specifically, but was this thing always this janky? I swear it barely works half the time.
The only problem is that during SpongeBob's wind-up animation for bowling, he walks forward. That means you fall off of the button, which closes the gate and prevents you from bowling the bubble where you intended, when you intended.
Fortunately, its combat utility is overshadowed by the cruise bubble. Gone after defeating Robo Patrick, the ability to remotely bomb enemies from far away was already good enough, but in the original it was the source of some of the most jank movements I've seen in this game. I'm not even going to attempt to explain how this works. Anyways, after spending a few hours strolling for the game, another hour getting lost in kelp forest like an idiot, and an extra 40 minutes grinding shiny objects to trade in with the embodiment of all that is greed, we're finally ready to enter the Chum Bucket Lab and take on SpongeBob, Steel Pants, and probably the best boss of the game. I say this not only because of the actual fight with the big SpongeBoy, but also because of everything else that comes after. Instead of a proper Phase 2, which was apparently in the works at some point before being scrapped, he instead must journey to the center of all that is Sponge in one less platforming gauntlet before destroying the source of Robo-Sponge power, his brain. After turning Robo-Plankton into a widower, you then see why cloning yourself is a very bad idea before Patrick is arrested for manslaughter and SpongeBob gives a very long-winded speech about how you won't rest until Bikini Bottom is safe.
I wouldn't stop, and neither will I. We can't rest until Bikini Bottom is safe.
I minored in holding on wide shots for too long.
So, that's Battle for Bikini Bottom explained as poorly as possible. A childhood favorite that still holds up in my humble opinion. As of writing this, I've played about an hour of Cosmic Shake, and I can already see how the team over at Purple Lamp have improved the game feel so much, and I'm excited to see how the new game turns out. Not sure if I'll make videos on it or not, and not exactly known for being consistent when it comes to making stuff. But who knows, maybe I'll feel inspired enough to continue the Sponge Saga provided I'm not completely drained by Pac-Man World 2 Repack. Share the video that get me to stop being lazy, feel free to insult my intelligence over bad jokes in the comments, and enjoy a brief montage of random moments of this game I happen to find mildly amusing for some reason.
What follows is a brief construction montage.
Rock is talking to me. Almighty Rock, I am at your command.
Down here, you big pink lummox! Sorry, lad, but the carnival is closed. A pesky robot has taken over me ticket booth. And worse, me money. Well, it's not exactly what I had in mind. I hope my insurance covers all this.
Sure, if you fall down to the bottom of this pit. Oh, hi there, Mr. Plankton. Are you going to vaporize me today?
Hello, Plankton.
Oh, the mammal.
Howdy, Mr. Dutchman, sir.
I was in an undesirable position yesterday, and now my neck hurts.
Have you done everything I told you yet?
Well, then will you vaporize me?
It's always safety with you people. Now into the caves before all this being helpful gives me a headache.
Now, if we don't get this robot thing resolved, Shady Shoals will shut down and I'll have to move back in with my son and his wife and his 4 screaming kids.
You okay? You look kind of green.
Fire the lasers! Hurts so much to be helpful. Need hatred. Soon! Hear me now! I'll crush you all beneath my... And now back to your regular programming. Retirement home girls gone wild. And then stop on your children. And stop on your children's children.
Now will you vaporize me?
Once I'm back into the chum bucket, we'll talk.
If you can return it all to me, I'll reward you with a golden spatula.
Why do you want all that artwork?
Don't ask questions you aren't prepared to handle the answer to.
We hope you enjoyed this brief construction montage.